Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Immigration Talk Show. It's me, your host, Sam. And today we are back again with another very exciting and very important discussion that is lined up just for you. So make sure to watch this session till the end and also participate here by posting your questions on the comment section as we are live here for an hour. And don't forget, friends, to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Our handle is at Immigration Talk Show. Also, before moving ahead, let me read out this very important disclaimer. That is, by watching our videos, you agree and understand that the information provided by our experts and attorneys, including comments and replies from users, is not a legal advice. Use of information at your own risk. And with that, friends, we are also live on YouTube, LinkedIn, X, and do follow us on different social media platforms like LinkedIn, Facebook, X, and also on Instagram as well. And with that, coming back to our today's topic is again very important and very timely one. What to expect when entering the United States for green card holders and visitors. So, stepping into America sounds really exciting, right? But the real adventure begins at immigration. Whether you're holding a green card or visiting for few weeks, what happens at the airport can really make or break your trip because US immigration is no joke. One wrong move and your dream trip can turn into a nightmare. But don't worry, friends, because we have got your back. In this session, we are going to talk exactly what happens when you enter the United States, what questions the officers should ask from you, and also, how you can give the answers, what documents you have to carry, and what are the red flags that you have to look for. And to help me in making this session a wonderful one, I have a great attorney who will be joining me in a bit, none other than attorney Nandini Nair, who is a partner at AY Strauss and leads the immigration practice with over 25 years of unmatched expertise. Her insights have been featured in the New York Times, CNN, Bloomberg, and even more. So I think I'm really excited for this session as Nandini brings up a lot in this webinar. So hi Nandini, really excited and happy to have you again. How are you doing today?
I'm very good, Sam. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Same here. And also, Nandini, how things have been going. I'm sure, as immigration policies are keep on changing. So, how everything is going.
It is really very difficult. I think the rapid pace of changes is, it just keeps you dizzy and it keeps you almost like with a pit in your stomach as to what else is coming next. So I think practicing and, just for the individuals involved in immigration, it's just a very difficult time right now. So, but we will get through it. We will navigate through it as we all have to do that. So, and that's what I'm here for.
Absolutely. That's great. And that's lovely. And friends, the best part is that you can also get in touch with attorney Nandini Nair. You just have to visit this link that is on screen. And you can also go ahead and check on the comment section that is on pinned comment. You can click on that link and get the contact details of her and reach out to her. Ask any question or query that if you want any help or any advice. And with that, I think, Nandini, we have a very important topic and a very timely one too, because from past few months and few days, we have been seeing that even green card holders and visitors, they are also feeling some stress and they are also getting some, difficulties in entering the USA. So firstly, I would like to know it from you, like what our viewers can expect from today's webinar.
I think what's important today is what we're going to discuss is some practical stuff. What is the reality on the ground? Does this type of status provide safety for me? Or am I still at risk? Those are all the things I want to discuss today because I think there needs to be an education for a lot of people about what happens and how, just like you said, one wrong step takes you from being in this country to being permanently barred, possibly from entering. So I think it's a very timely discussion we're about to have.
Absolutely. All right. So I think, friends, keep ready and, start, noting down all the points because we have something very important to unpack. And I'm sure this webinar is going to be really very insightful. So with that, I think, Nandini, without any further ado, let me go ahead with my very first question. And this is regarding the green card holders. Because when we talk about green card holders, we think that if they got the green card, they are all set. There's no question, no secondary inspection, but right now in 2025, it is happening. So, firstly, I would like to know it from you that what is the reason behind it? Why green cards are going through secondary inspection? Is not a green card enough? Please go ahead.
No, being a US citizen these days is not even enough at this point. No, absolutely not. It does not provide you the safety net that you think it does. And green card holders have been pulled into secondary for decades. It's not something necessarily new, but what it's new is the volume, where certain things might have been passed through. Now it's not being passed through, and individuals coming into the U.S. are being pulled into secondary. Why? There's a lot of different reasons. One could be that you traveled too long outside the US as a green card holder. There are limitations to how long you can step outside the United States, and you have to be aware of those things. It's not a free, like, I'm going to step outside for 10 years and be able to come back in. It does not work like that. There are other times there's a lot of frequency on trips. Again, maybe there is a criminal issue in the background that obviously maybe it ended 10 years ago, but now it's still coming back to haunt that individual. Common is usually DUI, shoplifting, things like that. So there's a variety of reasons. It does not give you the protection of being automatically being able to enter. CBP has every right to question even U.S. citizens if they want to about their background, about their history, travel history, purpose of trip, all of those type of things. So don't be complacent is what I would say. Oh, I have a green card, I don't need anything to worry about. In this administration, you absolutely have to worry about it.
That's right. And I think, Nandini, you have mentioned great points. Just to take a follow up, I'm a little curious if you can let us know the comparison between 2025 and before, how green card holders used to face, these situations, or were they even used to get into these trouble, or how was the situation for them?
I think there was leniency in the past. For example, if somebody stepped out of the country for 7 months as a green card holder, there was more leniency, like, oh, okay, we're not going to even check about this. Okay, because there's a rule that says, 6 months out, they can question you. Now you are at 7 months, they're going to be like, what were you doing outside that for that long? And they really, delve into your background and find out what were you doing. So that is what I've seen the past, I want to say 6 months, is things that were lenient. There was lenient about things that they just let go of, is not being let go. CBP has been empowered by the Trump administration to use whatever they feel like, to check into someone at this point. So it's a little bit nerve-wracking for anybody who's traveling at this point. And I'm very concerned for anyone who has a criminal issue. That I am advising my clients, do not travel until this administration is over. If you can help it. If there's an emergency, you got to do what you have to do, but try to avoid it if possible.
Absolutely. And I think that is one of the very important pointer. So I'm sure, friends, you are keeping a note of it. And in case if you're having any questions regarding the topic, and please go ahead, put them on the comment section. Don't hesitate, because this is the time you have to be vocal. You have to keep on asking more and more questions. And we are having these very insightful webinars for you guys. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel also, to stay tuned and stay connected and keep yourself informed. Okay, and with that, Nandini, as you have explained about green card holders, right? Now let's move ahead with my next question. And now it is for travelers. So travelers, they are just happy-go-lucky type. They are just packing bags, tying up their shoes, and having a very good positive vibes, to go ahead and have a life in the USA. So what is the real purpose that they are also being questioned? So what can be the reason behind it?
Oh, there's many reasons. Number one is security, right? Every country has a process to vet people when they're trying to come into their country to make sure they're not criminals, felons, they are not terrorists, the various reasons of security. That's a common thing, and it's not unique to the United States. Every country has that. When I travel to any country, they're going to question me as to my background if there's an issue. So that's one. Second thing for tourists, the bigger, the other question that really comes up is, are you going to be an overstay? What does that mean? Meaning like, okay, you're telling me, oh, I'm just coming here to tour. I want to go see the Statue of Liberty. I want to see, San Francisco, et cetera, et cetera. But is that really your purpose? Or are you going to just come in? I'm going to let you in at CBP and you're not going to return. You're not going to go back. So they want to, question the background of this individual. I always tell people who are about 18, let's say 18 to in their even their 60s, that you are in the eyes of CBP a potential overstay. That
Yes.
you have a reason, possibly, and again, it's possibly, allegedly, to come into the United States and never return back. And you're going to say 50, 60, yes, because maybe they have a relative in the United States that says, just
Yes.
come in, you can stay here, don't worry about it. Younger people, come here, work, get a job, do some whatever under the table, things like that. So those are two really big things as to why travelers are being questioned. Security purposes. Second is, are you going to be an overstay and be another individual that is illegal in the United States? Because the United States has a big population of that, obviously, because it's a country that has a lot of opportunities for individuals. So those are really the two big reasons that the questioning happens.
Absolutely. And those were, very insightful. So I'll just say thank you so much, Nandini, for putting up so much important information in, this webinar. It's really going great. And with that, as usual, I enjoy a lot having these lovely conversation with you. And I'm sure our viewers also enjoy a lot. So Rennie is here. Hi, Rennie. Thank you so much. Stay tuned and stay connected. Soon we are going to take up your question. Don't go anywhere and just wait for some more time and we'll be coming back to you. Okay, and with that, Nandini, I have another question for you, and that is about Indian visitors, because Indian population is one of the largest population in United States in terms of immigrants. So, is it like, do Indian visitors also face more scrutiny at US port of entry than travelers as compared to the other countries? What do you have to say on that?
I would say that there is definitely a bias and there's definitely a hierarchy of bias. People from Europe probably face less. It's just, and these are just reality on the ground. It doesn't mean, there's any sort of agenda I have behind that point. What my point is that when I see travelers, when face scrutiny, generally, again, this is generally, I am seeing individuals of color from certain countries facing a little bit more. African countries, South American countries, Indian, country from India, Bangladesh, from Pakistan, they face those type of scrutinies. Now, why does it seem like Indians are being picked apart a little bit more? Because they travel more, versus an African national, right? They may not even get that visa because they have a high incident of denials in a lot of these African countries, and same in South American countries. Indians have a little bit more ability to get the visa. So it seems like they're targeted a little bit more. But is that the reality of just Indians? No, I want to say you're going to be in the bucket of people of color. They're definitely facing it. The other thing that people who face things are, and how they look at it, is people from certain third world countries, right? CBP believes those are individuals, again, who have the higher intent to be an overstay in the country, and higher intent to bring, maybe like from South America, bring in drugs into the country, other banned substances into the country. It just seems to be, when you look at the statistics, individuals from these type of countries are the ones bringing in these type of things or having specific issues. And so when you look at it holistically, it just seems that Indians, Africans, South Americans, people of color are just continuing to be scrutinized more than someone from Europe, someone from Australia. I think the reality is that, Is anything we can do about it? Not really. CBP seriously has a lot of power and control, and they have their biases and stuff like that. So
Yeah, that's pretty sad, but unfortunately, we can't do anything. And I'll say that thank you so much, Nandini, for putting up these very important and I'll say, hidden facts, or I'll say hidden pointers, in front of everybody. And it's very important for everyone to get in touch, with these realities and get a reality check. So yeah, I'll just say that you're doing a wonderful job and really, great. But with that, friends, I think it's time for a short and a quick break. So don't go anywhere. We'll be coming right back on Immigration Talk Show. It's me, Sam, your host, having a great conversation with none other than attorney Nandini Nair. Stay tuned, stay connected. Also subscribe to our channel. Our handle is at Immigration Talk Show. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back just after a break.
You know why I'm vacationing in Dubai right now? Because I stopped drowning in RFEs, intake calls, and late night filings. I used to hire freelancers who barely knew what a G28 was. Total chaos. Then I found IMI Support, virtual immigration paralegals trained in real case prep, docket-wise, and USCIS workflows. Now my calendar's clean, my clients are happy, and my firm runs while I relax. You can hustle or you can outsource smart. I chose freedom. I chose IMI Support.
All right, friends, welcome back to Immigration Talk Show. And today we are having a great discussion on the topic what to expect when entering the United States for green card holders and travelers. So, till now, we have unpacked some of the reasons behind like why green card holders are being questioned and why travelers are also being, getting the secondary inspection. So, with that, I think let me go ahead with my next question. And hi, Nandini. Hope you're doing great and enjoying the session too.
thank you, Sam.
Okay.
Happy to be here.
All right. So let me go ahead with my next question, and this is for you. That can a green card holder be denied entry just because an officer feels like something is off?
Well, I think an individual can be pulled into secondary because something is off, because CBP is trained, to look at certain factors, certain indicators, certain, biases, or certain ways, right? They're trained on that, right? To look at people like that. And so they have the right to do that. So I think they get pulled into secondary because they feel something, right? Now, getting denied is a larger issue. Look, denied is just not automatic. Have to state a specific reason. Now, what I've seen in my practice is some of these reasons are not valid necessarily, or they are not made up, but they just seem to be off to the facts on the ground. But unfortunately, they have a lot of power. But does CBP, just like a police officer, right? If a police officer is walking by and they see something they feel like is this weird or this doesn't seem right, the CBP has those exact same rights. It doesn't, they can say, hey, I feel like there's something off with this individual and I'm going to take them into secondary. Can they deny entry, like I said, on just that feeling? No. They do have to have some facts in the background and stuff. It's just the validity of those facts is what will change, entry to not being sent back home.
All right. I think that was very important because Nandini, most of the time we have been hearing rumors a lot, misinformation and fake news. So people are saying a lot about, immigration system, about CBP officers themselves. So I think, yeah, these were very important. And I hope, friends, you're getting to know about the reality and, just keep yourself updated with all these very important information. And it's better not to mislead yourself. Okay, now let me go ahead with my next question, Nandini. That can a green card be taken away just because someone stayed too long outside the USA, or how is it going to be?
Absolutely. That is a absolute thing that can happen. Green card holders need to understand there is a limitation of how long they can stay outside the United States. So this is what they need to know. You can stay outside the United States for 6 months, up to 6 months without an issue of being able to come back. Generally, okay. Again, this is saying that there's nothing in the background, there's no issues, etc. Okay, you're not bringing in, banned substances or anything. 6 months to 1 year, CBP has the right to question you. And if they feel that your answers are not credible or valid, unreliable, they have the right to deny you entry. So 6 months to 1 year. It's not automatic, but they have the right. 1 year onwards, it's automatic. Okay. So you cannot stay outside the United States for that 1 year and be able to come back in unless you have applied and received a re-entry permit. The re-entry permit is something you will file as a green card holder prior to your departure, and you have to do fingerprints and things like that. It can be approved later, but you need to have that in your hand. So let's say it's through, you are on the 400th day of being outside the United States and you're coming back in, you need to have that re-entry permit in your hand at CBP at the airport, for you to show, hey, I took permission. That's how you want to look at it. I took permission from the US government to be outside the United States past 1 year. And the maximum time I can stay, your viewers really need to know, with that reentry permit is 2 years. So it's not a 5 years, it's 2 years. Yes, when you come back in, you're here for a little bit. Can you go back for another 2 years? Yes, you can. But there is going to be a period of time with that stuff. Generally, I tell my clients the maximum you're going to do is about 3 times. So 2, 4, 6. That's it. Like you come in, you stay for a few months, you go another 2 years, come back, another 2 months. Because if they see this pattern of you keep doing this, you are not considered a permanent resident of the United States. You are just using this as a tourist. It's like you just hop over here and your real home is somewhere else. So yes. And if they continue to see that, they can take away your green card. So you have to be mindful of these rules. What is my time limit that I can stay outside? Once you become a US citizen, you want to stay out for 20 years? That's fine. You can come back in generally, unless there's some, again, background issues. But so that's perfectly okay. So I always tell all my clients, mindful of your green card, try to stay here, get your naturalization done, your US citizenship, 5 years, 3 years, whatever category you're in. Then if you want to go back to India because that's where you want to retire, or you want to go to Europe or wherever you want to go and live, okay. Don't do that because when you get your green card.
All right. All right. That was really insightful. Thank you so much, Nandini. And I'm sure, these other pointers very helpful. And I'll just add on, like, it's not always, yes or no to answer, because right now people are saying that why immigration system are becoming so strict, why scrutiny is happening. So I'll just say that I think, people have also misused a lot of policies, and, at the end, the system also doesn't have any other option. So maybe they are thinking that after, scrutinizing or making things a little strict, they can now make the system more fair and more transparent. I just want to know your thoughts. What do you think about it?
I think that's absolutely a fair statement. I think you have it right on the money. I think that the laws are pretty fair. I think when you look at it from top view down, and the reason you're seeing the tightening is because people abused it in everything, right? Whether it's on green card holders travel, whether it's on the work visas, whether it's federal programs, people end up abusing the system, which then forces the government to tighten it. So it's not the laws that are bad, it's the people who abuse it, and then that creates problems for the people who are not abusing it. And it's just that trickle down effect that happens. So, but you're absolutely right. It is the abuse of the systems that causes this.
That's right. Absolutely. And I'll say that, these were very great points. And thank you so much, Nandini, for putting up them in the conversation. Okay, now let me move ahead with our next very important question. And this is regarding social media.
Mm.
So right now, social media is also trending, I mean, because of this topic. So
Yeah.
is it that the CBP officers are quietly checking the social media post of each and every green card holders and visitors before they allow them the entry?
They are not checking green card holders of every green card holder that's entering. They don't have the capacity to do that or the bandwidth to do that. There are certain categories like students that they are checking all of this when they apply for visas. But what CBP is doing at the airport is if they feel something is off or they feel something, right? They are taking the phones. They're pulling them into secondary and they are looking at the phones and they will force you and you have to comply to unlock that phone. And then they will say, open up your Instagram, open up your WhatsApp, open up your, Telegram, open up Facebook. We want to see what's in there. So that is 100% happening. They also have the ability, if they really feel something is off with an individual, to go and basically pull back some deleted messages. I have people who said, okay, well, I'm going to wipe my phone, before I travel. Well, guess what? The minute you wipe your phone, the CBP is like, why is there nothing on here? That's a suspicious, right? Because most people will have something on their phones and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that is not going to solve the problem either. You might add to you sitting in secondary for many, many hours while they try to unlock, the phone, your text messages, or any of those type of things at this point. So yeah, watch what you're putting on social media, go through your maybe history from years ago and whatever's public, out there. Maybe you should delete some of it, maybe not. It all depends on what all you've been saying and stuff like that. But yes, they're definitely checking this, and you must allow them to check your phones when you are at the airport if they ask for it. If you don't, and you say privacy rules and all of these kind of things, you are about to get sent back. So
Okay.
don't think that that is going to be the winning argument here. They have a right as a officer of the US government to look at the interests of the United States, and that overrides your privacy. So be mindful of that.
All right. And Nandini, as you are saying, something off. So I just want to get more knowledge on this. If you're saying that if the officers are going to see any traveler or any holder or something off, then what does that mean? Means missing any documents or answering something wrong? If you can justify that something off keyword in a better way, so that will be easier for our viewers to understand.
All right. So l- let's be practical, okay? The airline you pick.
Okay.
You pick Air India, they know it's all Indians on that plane generally, right? So they're ready. CBP, like JFK, Chicago, O'Hare, they're ready. They're like, oh, Air India is landing. We're gonna have all Indians. They're gonna kind of come together and be like, okay, this is a population that we need to check a little bit more carefully, right? Versus you take Lufthansa, for example, right? And you're the one or two Indians on the plane or something like that, less potential. Again, these are just practical things I've seen in my experience and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, I know that I recommend always clients never travel through the Middle East. Never travel on, love Emirates and love all these airlines, and they're cheaper and they have a better route to India. But the
Mhm.
problem is you are going to do pre-inspection in the Middle East, in Abu Dhabi, in Dubai, right? And those people are very much unaware of a lot of the rules, right? So you will not have an opportunity to fight your case. They won't let you board the plane. So I always say, don't go through that route. Don't go through Ireland because that's pre-inspection there. Try to go to a direct flight where inspection is going to be here in the United States. That's another important thing that you need to be aware of. Three is missing papers, obviously, right? You are not prepared. Clients, I say be over prepared. Be prepared for the worst thing that can happen to you at that airport and make sure you have everything. If they don't ask you a single question, thank God, but always be prepared for the worst things. Your pay stubs, if you're a tourist, I want to see that you have an agenda. Where are you going to go and visit? Did you book your tickets for the Statue of Liberty? Did you book tickets to go to San Francisco and see the Golden Gate Bridge? And if you come in and say, well, I'm going to do it when I get here, that's going to be something that's going to be, not that it's odd, because a lot of people will do that, but you are you tick it off like, you haven't done all that already? Where are you planning on going and stuff? Be ready for those type of questions, right? Don't be like, oh, my daughter, I'm just going to visit my daughter and I don't know where we're going. No, you better know where you're going. Yeah. Those type of things.
All right. That's very well said. And I think, yeah, these were great examples, and it's very much clear right now for everybody, what does that mean? And with that, I'll say, Nandini, we have a lot of viewers also who joins here, but maybe they're not comfortable, sharing their questions in the comment section. So friends, you are getting this opportunity to get in touch directly with the expert who is sitting right here, none other than attorney Nandini Nair. So you can visit this link, or you can also go ahead and look in the comment section. It's pinned comment, and you'll just have to click that link. Go ahead and ask any question regarding your immigration journey, and I'm sure she would love to help you out. So don't gamble, don't procrastinate. This is the time. Take the stand and ask questions. And with that, I think, friends, I think it's almost time to take another short break. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back, and keep watching till then, Immigration Talk Show.
You know why I'm vacationing in Dubai right now? Because I stopped drowning in RFEs, intake calls, and late night filings. I used to hire freelancers who barely knew what a G28 was. Total chaos. Then I found IMI Support, virtual immigration paralegals trained in real case prep, docket-wise, and USCIS workflows. Now my calendar's clean, my clients are happy, and my firm runs while I relax. You can hustle or you can outsource smart. I chose freedom. I chose IMI Support.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Immigration Talk Show. I'm sure this session is very important and giving a lot of insights for you guys. So I'm sure you're watching this session till the end and be with us for another half an hour. Please go ahead, put questions on the comment section, and now it's time to get some questions from our viewers. So I think, Nandini, I have a lot of more questions, but now let's not wait to our viewers do. Okay, Rennie is here. And hi, Rennie. Thank you so much for your participation. I hope you have subscribed to our channel. If you haven't, then please do it right now. Okay, Rennie is asking that I'm a skilled row PD 25 April 2023, almost current in the next visa bulletin. My question is, the 4 tool shows Nairobi consulate processing DQ cases of 2023. So how can I expedite my case or change consulate in Mumbai? I think so. I'm reading it fine. I'm so
She
sorry.
is, yeah, no. She's a beneficiary of a green card application, employment based, I think, skilled, EB3 skilled. And she's thinking that her priority date is going to be current very shortly. So she wants to know, how can I get to the front of the queue when it becomes current? I think that's what she's asking. And really, there's no options. What I try to do is, when my client's priority date is current, I have to wait 30 days. Okay. So let's say it gets current in, where are we? July, the August visa bulletin. Okay. First of all, nothing's going to happen until August, when it actually is current. And then I wait 30 days. And if in 30 days my file hasn't picked up and something hasn't moved on my client's case, then I'm sending an inquiry to USCIS, or to maybe the consulate to see if there's any movement on the case. But is there a way to expedite it? Really, no. It's a queue-based system, meaning that whatever they have the file, they sit it like, I got this file, even if it's done the same day, I got this at 101, I got this at 103, 105, and it will go like that where they're going to assign it to officers to review it. Now, you want to change the consulate? Okay, well, here's the thing. You are going to have to file what's called the I-824, changing the consulate for the immigrant visa processing. Let me just say this to you. That is a long, drawn-out process, meaning that the processing time of an I-824 is just incredibly long. And, by the time, you don't want to be in a situation where your priority date retrogresses, while you're waiting for your file to be switched to Mumbai. Maybe once you get the email from the National Visa Center, the recommendation then would be is to contact them. They have emails and try to see if the file can be moved on to Mumbai. That's your best option at that point. File the I-824 as soon as possible. Have that receipt notice. Talk to the National Visa Center that process the interviews and stuff at consulates and see if they will be able to move the file. Let me tell you, moving the file, dangerous also. They can lose the file. I've seen that happen many a times. So my recommendation, if you can get back to yourself to Nairobi for some reason, if you've been there and, for whatever reasons, go to back to Nairobi and just run it through there. Trying to switch it is going to just delay the whole process for you.
All right. Thank you, Nandini, for taking up this comment. And Rennie, I hope you are happy with the answer. In case if you're having any other question regarding the topic, then please feel free to put them on the comment section, and we would love to take that. Okay, Imran is here. And hi, Imran. Thank you so much for your participation. He's asking what are the key rights and responsibilities that green card holders and visitors should be aware of when entering and staying in the US? And how can they ensure compliance with US laws and regulations?
Okay, so let's take the visitors first. I think that's a little bit easier. So visitors are visitors. You are here to visit. You are here to tour. You are here to meet family members. You are here to attend a wedding. You are here for whatever that encompasses as you are here for a very temporary purpose. And you are planning to go back. Now, what you should do is coming here and then working, somewhere else and stuff, because that's illegal, right? So what you should be aware of and what you should be compliant with as a visitor is what was the intent of your trip here? What is it that you told the consulate? What is it that you told the CBP when you were entering as to why you were coming? Follow that. Don't deviate from what your intended purpose was and do something that is against the tourist visa or the business visa. I have individuals who come here on a business visa and they're supposed to just attend meetings. And then what happens? They're working. They stay here and they work. And that's illegal. They're not allowed to work. And they'll be like, oh, well, I just needed to attend a customer meeting. No. That's working. That's illegal. Also remember the duration of time you are allowed to be here. Make sure that you don't overstay, even one day. Make sure you depart early. So I have individuals who are like, oh, I can be here till the 10th of July. And they book a flight on the 10th of July. And that flight gets canceled for whatever reasons. And they're like, oh, that wasn't my fault. Will they understand? No, they will not understand. So you book a flight for the 7th. So you build in cushion time in case the flight gets canceled or something happens and stuff like that. Your goal is to get outside the United States by the 10th of July. Now, green card holders, again, we talked about this, right? You're not allowed to just step out of the country forever or for years at a time. You need to make sure you have the permission of the US government by having that reentry permit if you plan on staying out past 6 months. Now, you cannot use the green card as a visa. Like, I'm just going to come in and, go back, do those type of things. Those are, you don't have that right. You should be maintaining a presence in the United States. What does that mean? Bank account, credit card statements, house or apartment or something that shows you are actually a resident of the United States. That's going to help you prove that even though you've taken some of these trips and stuff, hey, I just had to go to India, or because I was selling a property, my parents were sick or something like that, but I'm really living in the United States. So you've got to be aware of all of those type of things. A misstep is not going to be rectified easily. And sometimes it just has such long-term consequences. No attorney is going to be able to unwind that for you. It becomes incredibly difficult. So don't put yourself in that position.
Absolutely. Those were great points. Thank you so much, Nandini, for helping Imran also, and Rennie also for, their difficulties and their complexities. Now, with that, let me go ahead, Cynthia. So, hi, Cynthia, and thank you so much for your comment. She is saying that if a green card holder or visitor is denied entry into the US, then what are their options for appealing the decision or seeking relief? And what are the potential consequences of being denied entry?
Okay. That's a very complex question in the sense of what are the consequences of being denied entry. For example, let me step from there forward. Um, it depends on the reason. Okay, why were you denied entry? For example, they found out that you misrepresented on your application. You committed fraud or something like that. That means you are subject to a permanent bar. So that's not unappealable if you can invalidate those facts or any of that, but if it's real and if it's true, you're done. You're not coming back into the United States. It's a permanent bar. There's no waivers that we can really try to overcome. I mean, there might be, but it's incredibly difficult. Now, if you are denied entry because you're traveling, you stayed out for too long, different story. That's, again, maybe there was a legitimate reason as to why you stayed out for 9 months or 13 months or 15 months. Maybe you were, God forbid, in an accident, you were in the hospital. Those are things that absolutely appealable. So what I always tell people is, if those are questions that are being and you are get denied entry, do not surrender your green card. Do not sign the 407 form where they're asking you to voluntarily surrender it. No, say absolutely not. They will parole you in, and then they will, send you basically a notice of deportation. But we can fight that in court here. If you voluntarily give up your green card at the airport, we're done. Then we have to prove coercion and all this, and we weren't in the room. So it's really difficult to do that. So I always tell clients, no matter how much they press you, how much they harass you, say no to signing that. They will let you in, but what will happen is you'll get a notice of deportation. That is a fight we can win if based on those type of facts.
Absolutely. And those were very important pointers, Nandini. And I think these are the rights, everybody should understand, because right now people are just thinking that, everything is out of control. There's nothing that they can do about it. But
Mhm.
I think, yeah, those were great points. And friends, you still have some rights, you just need to know more and more about what rights you have, what are the legal, information you can have for your side. And it's nothing that, Nandini, people are saying that they are in big trouble or they don't have any other option. So it's like misinformation is also happening, and people are just taking the advantage of their, being scared, and a lot of things are happening. But you're putting up great points, and I'm sure that these, pointers are really helping our viewers to get to know what actually is happening and what people should do right now. So with that, Seema is also here. And hi, Seema. Thank you so much for your comment. Okay, so Nandini, Seema is asking that I accidentally overstayed my visa validity. What
Mhm.
steps can I take to rectify the situation and avoid potential immigration consequences, such as deportation or future visa denials?
Okay. So it depends on how long you overstayed. Okay. So if you stayed less than 180 days, generally you'll be able to get through that. There won't be a bar. So there's two sets of bars you have to be aware of. There's the bar for staying past 180 days. It's a 3-year bar from reentry into the United States. You stay past 1 year, it's a 10-year bar. So again, it depends on how long you overstayed. So if you stayed 60 days, you'll be able to get back in and stuff. Will you have future visa denials? It's going to be a little bit of rougher road, sure, of course, because on the DS 160, you do have to show that you did overstay. It's easily, they're going to find that. And if you don't claim it or be honest about it, that's going to come back to bite you a little bit more. So again, you need to know how long you overstayed and where the bar sits, right? So if you that 190 days, you're looking at 3 years. So I always tell everybody the facts matter on your case. Everybody's case is not the same. So if you overstayed a little bit,
Yeah.
you should be okay. But if you hit that mark, you're gonna have a problem.
All right. Okay. And thank you so much, Seema, for putting up this question. And I hope you got your answer. Now, Nandini Mangu is also here and he's asking a question. He's saying that I understand that a re entry permit is
Mhm,
only required if you are staying outside the country for more than a year. So, has anyone had any
mhm,
trouble for re entering recently? Okay. And there's a continuation to that. Elderly green card holders facing pressure. CBP has been pressuring them to sign Form I-407 to voluntarily surrender their lawful
mhm,
permanent resident status. Yes, Nandini, please go
mhm.
ahead.
Okay, so yeah, the target has been elderly green card holders because again, they use the green card as a tourist thing, right? And what I see is children are here.
Mhm.
They get their citizenship. Then they want to bring their parents over. Parents, whatever, they stay for a certain amount of time until they get their green card, but they never really want to be here, right? They just want to have the freedom not to have a visa and they just want to be able to come in and out. They're like, I don't want to move to the US. I want to stay in India, all of these type of things. Again, you that's not the purpose of the green card. The green card is you are vowing when you get that you are going to reside in the United States. This is your home, not India, not Europe, not South America, United States. So when they see, what they do is they scan the passport, right? You have a bar on your passport, shows up and right there on their screen, in and out, in and out, in and out. They can see all your travel history. The minute they see all of these things and they look at the time difference, they're going to be like, this is what she's doing immediately. It's like I can see it immediately, right? So then, yeah, they're going to be like, then they start questioning them and they're aggressive. They are aggressive. I'm not saying they're nice people. They are generally not. They're mean, they're tough. And so, of course, an older person is going to get scared and they're going to be like, I don't know what to do. I'm just going to sign this so I can at least go back home. And, I'm so afraid and stuff. And that's the whole thing that happens at secondary. But yeah, grandparents, parents, big, big, big targets right now. So you have to look at that and make some decisions. Is your parent going to come back to US or they're going to give up that green card and have to apply for a visa later on if they want to come and visit? You know,
Mhm.
choices, personal decisions that have to be made here.
All right, that's very well said. Thank you so much, Nandini, for making these great points, and I'm sure it is really helpful for our viewers too. Okay, and with that, Jason is also here. And Jason, I hope Nandini, if you can look to it, that are visa sponsors hurting after the J1 pause?
Of course, everybody is hurting because of the pause right now. Universities are hurting. J1 sponsors are hurting. You know, they're in a limbo. They don't know what to do when everything is actually going to be lifted. Supposedly there's a lift because they're going to vet the social media profiles of these individuals and stuff like that. But that is, it's so silly when I think about it because these officers at these consulates are already so burdened, with work, right? They're just like overwhelmed. Now you're going to add this that they have to look at. And this is not like there's going to be one little sheet. Somebody could have 5 different social media profiles. They got to go through this and how long are you going to go back? Somebody's had a social media profile for 10 years. So
Mhm.
you are just slowing down the entire process. You're going to see the queues just get longer and longer and longer for these type of individuals and stuff. So if the J1 doesn't come in, you know, like
Yeah.
eventually this program sponsors are just going to be like, we can't do this anymore. So yeah, of course, they're all hurting. You're going to see tuition rise for
Yeah.
students here. because we're not going to have foreign students coming in at the levels we had before. So there's a lot of consequences to all of this.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think, friends, till now, you're getting a lot of insights from this session, and I'm sure you're enjoying it too. We are here for another 15 minutes, so please don't hesitate. Put questions or your queries on the comment section, and we'll be coming back just after a short break. And the best part is, you can also get in touch with attorney Nandini Nair. Just have to visit this link and get her contact details and reach out to her right now. And with that, friends, don't go anywhere. We are coming just after a short break. Till then, keep watching everybody Immigration Talk Show.
You know why I'm vacationing in Dubai right now? Because I stopped drowning in RFEs, intake calls, and late night filings. I used to hire freelancers who barely knew what a G28 was. Total chaos. Then I found IMI Support, virtual immigration paralegals trained in real case prep, docket-wise, and USCIS workflows. Now my calendar's clean, my clients are happy, and my firm runs while I relax. You can hustle or you can outsource smart. I chose freedom. I chose IMI Support.
All right, friends, welcome back once again to Immigration Talk Show. And this is the last segment of today's webinar that we are going to have. And with that, Nandini, we have covered a lot of viewers' questions and my questions that I have prepared. Now, with your permission, can we go ahead with Facebook questions? Because there are also viewers, who are asking constantly topics regarding green card. So can we go with that?
Sure, absolutely.
All right, that's great. So this is the question that we got firstly from Rebecca. And Rebecca is asking that has anyone done the green card process by yourself or without a lawyer?
Absolutely. Absolutely. They've done all of that by themselves and stuff like that. Do I recommend it? It depends, honestly. I don't necessarily take a lot of naturalization cases, for example, okay? Because I think that's a simple form that people can fill out, and I'm not here to charge people for that. So I'm like, just do it yourself. It's okay. I don't want to take that case on and stuff. Like, you don't have to waste money on a lawyer for that. Green card depends. Some cases are easy. Some cases you need help. There's nuances. You have to have a better understanding that you may not be able to pick up by looking at the USCIS website or by WhatsApp groups or, Reddit or any of those type of things and stuff. So, but simple answer, yeah, you can do it by yourself. You don't need a lawyer to do this.
Okay, all right.
My recommendation, but yes, you can do it.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Nandini, for taking up this. And let's move ahead with our next question. So we got this question, and it is, hi, I have one query. I want my EVL from employer for POE, and my internal designation is company internal grade based like project manager. However, LCA, petition, job duties, etc. are aligned with client requirement like system test engineer, which I do in my day-to-day job. So is it problematic if EVL says project manager based on company designation system?
Not necessarily. So I see this all the time, right? Because companies sometimes don't have these solid processes, or they have a process where everybody is named a certain grade, and so that grade matches this position, et cetera, and stuff. But the client requirements are different, right? And so they go with the client requirements. When I'm looking for that employment verification letter, that's what an EVL is. And I see that discrepancy. What I actually put in my EVL is I will put the job title from the company or from the LCA, I should say. And then I will, in parentheses, I will explain internally this position is designated as a project manager. It's the functional title, and that's the appropriate word. Functional title at ABC company is project manager. And usually that has been sufficient enough to not cause any problems in the future. So stick with the LCA title and then add this on top of that to explain it.
All right. Thank you, Nandini. Now, let's move ahead to our next question. And this is from Joe. So, Joe is asking that can anyone help me out on how to apply for a green card, please? So many please.
Well, Joe, I don't know what you mean by that. Like, there's many, many ways to apply for a green card, family-based, employment-based. So I think you need to be a little bit more specific on what you're talking about before, before me to answer and stuff. Otherwise, we're going to be here for a few hours. So, if you want to, ask a specific question, more than happy to help you.
All right, no worries, Nandini. And we can ask Joe if you can be a little specific. Let us know whether it's a marriage base or through work. Okay, Gora is here, and Gora is saying that, hi everyone, we are in need of getting a temporary green card extension for my dad. He needs to travel to Mexico next week, and his green card expires on the 10th of August. He has filed for his citizenship last September, but still no luck with everything that's going on. So, has
Mhm.
anybody ever been in this situation or knows what he can do in this situation? Because they are not giving us any appointments, also, we can't walk in there. Yes, Nandini.
Okay, well, I mean, if he's traveling next week, we're only in July. So when is he needs to come back before August 10th. That's the simple answer to that. If you're not able to get a temporary extension by getting an appointment at the local office. I mean, there's no other thing about it. I would not tell him to stay out of the country past August 10th. Make sure he comes back like by August 8th. Emergency, it's only July, whatever, 2nd at this point. So um, again, you can try what try to do is you can go to the USCIS website, use the chat, Emma, and try to explain maybe as to if there's an emergency requirement as to why he needs to stay past August 10th or something, like maybe some operation or some whatever the situation is and stuff. Through the chat, I've seen a little bit more success than calling the number. See if anything can work like that. But otherwise, my recommendation is come back before August 10th.
All right. Okay. I think these were the questions, or do we have more question control? I think no. Okay, these were the questions we got from Facebook. So thank you so much, Nandini, for putting up these questions. And we have one viewer who has joined us. So
Mhm.
Ricky, absolutely, we are going to take up your comment, but you are a little late. When we are going to end this session, then please go ahead and watch this session from the beginning, as this is going to be very important. Okay, so Nandini, Ricky is asking that our WhatsApp calls also subject to social media scrutiny for visas and petitions.
Absolutely, 100%. They are going to look at all your messages, your text messages, your social media profile, WhatsApp. They're very aware that a lot of foreign nationals use WhatsApp, right? It's because obviously it's free, and all of those type of things. So they're not unaware of the usage of WhatsApp. So yes, the simple answer to that is yes. That they're also going to look at that to vet your ability to enter the United States or get a visa, or all of those type of things. It's not just Facebook and those type of things.
All right. Okay, that's great. And thank you, Ricky, for being here and participating in this session. And with that, Nandini, I really don't want to say goodbye, but it is the time. It is 1 hour, and we didn't even realize it. So thank you so much for being here, and I'm eagerly looking to have another session with you. I really enjoyed this session. So much to learn from you, and it's again a great experience. Anything that you want to share without leaving the session, then please go ahead.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. I think what you guys are doing is incredibly great, good, for the public, and this information sessions that you're doing. There's so much value in this, and I hope that your listeners and your viewers are really taking stock of all of this stuff that all the attorneys, provide. We're here to help them, and we are very aware of the situation that's going on at this time. So please be careful out there. That's all I say, and don't make sure you understand what's going on before you take any sort of action. Don't assume what the world was yesterday is the world today.
All right, that's wonderfully explained. Thank you so much, Nandini, and looking forward to another session with you. Until then, take care, and thank you so much for being here. Have a great day.
Thank you.
All right. And friends, in case if you're having any question or any query regarding your immigration journey, then please go ahead and you can directly visit this link. You can reach out to attorney Nandini Nair and ask any question regarding your journey, and she would love to help you out. With that, it is the end of our session. I hope you guys enjoyed and learned a lot from this webinar, as this was really important and very insightful. In case if you're still having any queries or any doubt, then post them on the comment section. Even after this live stream ends, we will get in touch with you and will provide you the answer. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here, being a sport, and it was really amazing and great session, and always lovely to have a discussion with such expertise here. If you want any other topic to have, for our next session, you can also reach out to me on my email address, sam@staffingly.com. And with that, friends, thank you so much. That's all for today's episode. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Our handle is @Immigration Talk Show. Stay informed, stay motivated, and keep watching Immigration Talk Show. It's me, your host, Sam, signing off for now.
You know why I'm vacationing in Dubai right now? Because I stopped drowning in RFEs, intake calls, and late night filings. I used to hire freelancers who barely knew what a G28 was. Total chaos. Then I found IMI Support, virtual immigration paralegals trained in real case prep, DocketWise, and USCIS workflows. Now my calendar's clean, my clients are happy, and my firm runs while I relax. You can hustle or you can outsource smart. I chose freedom. I chose IMI Support.